See how emo I look. My color is a little too yellow. He fixes. Some things are easy to fix, some things are hard. It's easy to change the white balance of a picture, but you know what's harder? Changing the balance of good and evil, right and wrong, and truth and lies and all this. But you know, if you're a creator, you're used to these little sliders and buttons where you just press what you want and you make it happen, and you know it's a gift, the gift of creation. Some people spend their whole lives praying that something would come down and put this spark in them that they never have. You know what they become? They become critics. They become haters, stalkers, the ones that always complain no matter how good you get. And you know, it's good for them, but it's just because they're never willing to learn. You know, everyone starts small before they get big. And people don't understand how much work goes into, you know, just setting up a camera the right way and training your eyes to look right in it, and, you know, knowing just what to say. There's some shortcuts people take, you know, I don't blame them. Talking is hard, you know, but when talk is cheap, and there's videos everywhere nowadays. The words and the pictures, they just fly through the feeds like birds in the sky. But you know what a gift really is? To be able to touch the heart. And I wish I had that, but apparently I'm too autistic nowadays. So all I did was build a studio. All I did was learn how to use Photoshop, how to use Sony Vegas, I bought a bunch of gear. I'm chasing out trolls through my back door, hiding in the corner, watching them try to break in, to take what, I don't know, take my stuff, take my hope, my freedom. You know, it's not just a bunch of people around you doing that, it's everything. It's the universe. People think the truth is out there. The truth is in here. Not in me, it's in you, it's in all of you. That's something that people don't understand nowadays, because they just have this man on their computer screen, on their phone. They hear the man on the TV is the last one you can trust. But the man is everywhere. You know, there could be a man talking to you right now. You don't even know the difference between the man you can trust and the last one you should ever let in your brain, you know. You know what people try to say? They say you're crazy when you think that you can transplant ideas through people's minds. And I tell them, oh really? Just watch this and click subscribe. And you know what they say? You sound a little cray-cray. You know what I think about that? Join the fucking legion of haters, because haters gonna hate, critics gonna blame. You know what? An artist create, and you share what you make, share what you feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's like an onion peel. Pull away the layers and the tears just start flowing. Why? Because art is hard. It's hard to make something from nothing. And you know, fans, they're just blowing in the wind. Some of them try to cool you off, some of them try to steam you up, but nowadays it's hard to know what's what when everyone's just acting like there's some kind of abomination going around, you know. They just think, wow, this guy has a person with a hood up, staring at a screen, blasting memes, you know. They don't know what's that about. They think you gotta be crazy in order to reach out and touch someone. But you know, I think someone made a movie about that, E.T. Man, E.T. had a lot of haters too. But he found a little boy, probably. E.T. probably knew exactly what he was doing. I gotta find someone who still has trust. A child. They don't get programmed with prejudice. That, where I learned that quote from? Pope John Paul II. Where he said it? I think he was in Tunisia or something. He did a famous speech. He went to a bunch of young, angry, 20-something males, Muslims that were out of work. There is no colleges. There are AKs going around saying, join up, join the fight, our fight. Where Al-Qaeda has got your back. Don't trust anyone but us. This is the light. Al-Qaeda is the light. Bin Laden, he's got your back. Where is he? Oh, he's on these vids. Watch him. He'll tell you the truth. And then join the fight. In Afghanistan, which was a good fight. That's why America gave people the weapons to succeed. And then Bin Laden took all that trust he had and made more vids, telling people, I know the truth. The truth is out there in New York. Let's blow it up and just, because, I'm an arrogant, pretentious motherfucker, and I think I can tell people what to do. So I'm going to get my flock, put them on a couple airplanes, and send them into the Twin Towers. And then where he spent the rest of his life in? Not living in caves. Living like a king, having his servants, his family. That's why they get lots of wives. So they don't have to work a day more in their lives. Waving my hand and foot. The CIA probably knew where he was. So did Pakistan. So did Afghanistan. So did everyone. I bet some commando bitch probably got real pissed, said, fuck this guy. I'm going to find out the truth. They made a movie about that. Whatever, I forget what it's called. You know what it is. Watch it. But who said that was stupid? I'm not going to make some bits. I'm going to go out in the danger, in the war zone. And if I have to have a bulletproof car, whatever, fuck it, I'm tired of getting shot. Pope John Paul II. He's given some of the best speeches I've ever seen in my life. He just goes out there. He went to Tunisia or something, one of the places that's a war zone nowadays. That's why, let's say here and there, I wish Pope John Paul II would come back. Why? Not because I'm a dogmatic Catholic. The Pope, nowadays, he's pretty inspiring. People love him because he goes to where the poor and the sick and the needy are, and he kisses their feet. Where Pope John Paul II went? He went to Warsaw in the middle of the Soviet Union. He got out of an airplane and the people of Poland were laying reeds at his feet like he was Jesus Christ reborn, but he was more humble than that. He's been humble since he grew up watching the Holocaust happen in front of his eyes. He saved some little Jewish kid. He said, hide with me, I'll keep you safe. The parents, that little Jewish boy or girl's parents, they died. The step parents, when Pope John Paul got big, they took him to him and said, please convert this kid. You saved his life and we love you. You're a walking saint to us. And Pope John Paul said, hey, fuck that. I was just doing my job. I've always been a man of God. He's a Jew, So was Jesus. Just leave the boy be. God blesses us all equally. Hearing shit like this, man, that guy was a poet growing up. He's a lyric, his voice is like a song always, and he knew all these languages. He went around the world. He went in front of what would be, some of these people would probably be fighting for ISIS today. And he gave one of the most beautiful speeches I ever read, saying, I know you do not want to be programmed by prejudice. I know you all believe in the one God. And if you don't, it's because you've lost your way. But you can find it again, because, we're one. We're humanity. This is the world. This is about hearts, minds, and souls. And hearing a man, Al-Qaeda was going after this guy. The KGB was after this guy non-stop because he never stopped running his mouth about communism in his home country in Poland, how they were oppressed, how the freedom of speech should bless the world, because you know what God means to someone like Pope John Paul II, or many of the scientists, poets, philosophers, leaders of our times and times in the past and the future. People don't understand. They think they're smart. They're gotta be an atheist, or God is just some dogmatic philosophy, or in Eastern philosophy, all that stuff is cool. It's just trying to inspire you. That's what people are put on this earth for. And someone who can create, who has a gift with words, who can write, who can sing. I wish I always prayed to God saying, if you can give me a talent, give me the ability to sing, because my voice, I want it to bring something more than please shut up when people hear it. I've never stopped hearing that, but that means people have always been hearing me. And wherever my broadcasts go, wherever the hate will come from next, because man, I've heard more hateful things in my life, in my pretty uninspiring life. I've heard more hate than some people will hear in a lifetime. And you know what that makes me think? Man, I can really understand why some people have scars on their arms that heal one day, but never really go away. I have scars too. I don't know if you can see it. I need to turn the lights on. Someone pushing me through a plate glass window when I was 13, like they were trying to kill me. I forgave him, because I thought he was my friend. We lost touch, but we grew up together. Even if I was going to die one day, I had a near-death experience. And what I thought when I was going through that? When I saw the bones in my arm and the blood flowing and the adrenaline was pumping, and my blood was gushing out the back of my head, and I felt like I was an extra in a zombie movie who only had 5 seconds left before the scene ended. I just thought, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, I'm gonna die. And that didn't stop. But you know what happened? There was an EMT eating a pizza slice next to the Chinese restaurant where I almost died, and said, yo, fuck, get the fuck over here. Wrapped my arm up, kept it elevated, called the police. I was saved. I got surgery on my arm. I couldn't move my wrist or anything. People were just looking at me like I was already dead. But yeah, I came back to life. And what did I think? Oh shit, I can't believe I almost died. What the fuck? Man, that sucked. And I was walking around with a sling my first day of high school, looking at people, gangsters, saying, oh yeah, you're so smart, bro. I just telling them, they were saying, people were still going to kick my ass because I was so arrogant, just because, people came up to me acting all douchey, or I would do that to them probably. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I met my first girlfriend that way, actually. I first felt love because the chick next to me in a math class was the one taking my notes for me because I couldn't do the algebras. I failed that class anyways, and I failed lots of classes we were in. Brought her down for a while too, but she's doing great things nowadays, and God bless her heart and soul, whatever. Someone shoved me through a window. I almost died, and what do you know? The chick I'm sitting next to, who gets the unfortunate assignment of being next to me in a classroom, even though I'm pretty funny and interesting once you get to talk and once you get to know me, that ended up being my high school sweetheart. I loved her to death. Became second family to me. I learned a lot about people that way. And did I have to get shoved through a window and almost die, and probably almost deprived myself of let alone playing music and trolling on Facebook all day with these magic hands or whatever, or gifted hands, you're just gifted. It was just a luck, coincidence, I don't know, making lemonade out of fucking lemons. But stuff like this, it makes you think. At least it makes me think, because I'm always reflecting and thinking, and where did I end up where I am, and why do people feel the way they do, and does it bring me back to God, or to the book of the Bible. You know, I never really read the Bible, so I helped some author write a book about it. I spent all day for weeks just staring at words of Jesus, and then I would look at 20 different translations, and then the words of Jesus would change before my eyes. And you know, people fought wars over this kind of shit, over words, over meanings. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know, but it makes me think. Because, you know, nowadays people they hear me talk, and I don't know what the fuck they think, except he's messing with my mind. Get him out of my head. This guy is crazy, this guy's ignorant, this guy's retarded. And you know what that reminds me of? In a way that I can say with the utmost certainty and truthfulness, 1930s Germany. And when people say that, they say it because, you know what, for 10 years or so, people had to grow up hearing or because their adult lives were full of. They just had the radio on every day. People were just reading bullshit, fake news, hate speech, Jew privilege, war, everyone else sucks, Germany, Aryans are master race, love Hitler, hate whatever, hate Stalin, love Stalin, fuck England, you know, whatever. It was just nonsense. It was hate, and it always hate, retarded. There was no, you know, and then they were just slowly ostracizing people from society that always try to make a difference. A lot of those people were Jewish. It wasn't everyone, but, you know, if they found someone who was politically dissident, who was kept persisting writing his protest songs or poetry or not doing what they were told, they just looked up his family history, said, you know, there's probably a Jew somewhere in there. You know, he got his DNA is corrupted with the Jewish DNA. He's not a true Aryan. You can tell by how he talks and how he's always trying to steal your ideas, and you know, he's his arrogance, and well, the women, it's hard to even know anything about women in history because they never had a voice either. You know what one person had a voice in that era? Anne Frank. You know what I saw on Facebook, some group I was just posting in? People were just spamming pictures of Anne Frank saying, your entire family died in the ovens. And the only thing I thought was, well, the ovens was where the Jews took other Jews after they were gassed, but most of them were just shot in the back of the head and left in ditches. You know, it wasn't just Jews, it was Polish people. Understanding, you know, the Polish side of my family, that heritage, why you know, it's a mystery that is all there to read about. But when you grow up being told you're a stupid Polak or arrogant Jew, who the fuck is this Jew, dumb Polak, you want to hear a Polish submarine with screen windows, you spend your whole life hearing this and nothing else. You don't know what the fuck to think. Everything made me retarded because I was getting perfect standardized test scores while people were just calling me stupid, and they can't even pronounce my name and they think they're stupid. Now, my intelligence has nothing to do with my heritage, but you know, it's just weird in a country of immigrants, in an immigrant community. Everyone just has lining up the Polish jokes. You know what I realized after a while? Those Polish jokes were probably ran by wise guys on the radio in Nazi Germany. Again, people ready to dehumanize their foe because, you know, Poland and Russia were working on a plan to just fucking blitz and kill them all, because that's what always happened to Poland, because they're just geopolitically unlucky. And, you know, that's the kind of place that Pope John Paul II came from. He came from a land that was one of the most epic empires I ever read about in history. People watch Lord of the Rings and think the writer is Rohan or some fantasy invention, and they argue on YouTube comments. Everyone knows a true horseman would never... horses physically can't charge a pike. And I'm reading about the winged hussars of Poland, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. They had lances longer than any pike ever. Explain, you know, that no one understood how they had it. Explains why I set all those records for pull-ups and shit in high school, and how Eastern Europeans always dominate wrestling and shit. people think it's eugenics saying it. No, that's just your heritage or whatever. They're just strong motherfuckers. They're Slavs, you know. They're tough guys. They were on horseback. They dressed like angels with the wings and everything, and they charged directly at the enemy no matter what. This was the Polish cavalry that everyone heard about for the rest of history, saying, you know, all they did in World War II. Polish dumb Polacks on horseback charged a bunch of Tiger tanks and got blown up. That's what Poland is. That's what Poland was. And what the hell is Poland nowadays? Just like Russia, just like, you know, the Yugoslavia, those conflicts, all this stuff. And people don't even want to talk about what's going on in Eastern Europe nowadays, when everyone is all still, you know, stressing out because, you know, the Soviet Union, it was one hell of a union, all right. Pope John Paul II, seems like, in my studying history, it seems like all he did was walk into the middle of Warsaw, and he was the Pope. He just said, bring it on, motherfuckers. People, snipers were probably on every rooftop looking at him, saying, should we take him out? And he had throngs of people around him, and it's like, man, maybe we should just see what he has to say. And he went in front of a crowd, he smirked, and just said, do not be afraid. You know that quote resonated around the world. The Polish people under communism, they started a workers' movement called Solidarity. They protested, they wanted democracy, they wanted freedom, they wanted more rights. The only reason they couldn't do it is because they were afraid. Because when people did this back in the day of Soviet oppression, which even Russians weren't happy about, you know, because they were getting monitored and this and that, they just said, fuck it, they can't kill us all. What is he? We're not dealing with Hitler. We're dealing with our brothers and sisters, you know. We're fucking Slavs and shit, and America's gonna have our back, and we will inspire the world. Because, you know, John Paul II said, do not be afraid. And what do we have to be afraid of? Death? You know, to be one with God. Whatever, fuck it. You know, the people trying to kill the Pope all the time. Well, it's our excuse. Man, this spread like wildfire. First Poland, Hungary, this ran around even Russia itself. Governments toppled. People were celebrated. Joy and love spread everywhere. People just started voting about what they wanted. And, you know, even the whole time I read about it, people in the high command of the Soviets, you know, they were in control of half the world. They were some of the most powerful people that ever lived. We're just looking at each other saying, oh my God, the Pope, he just went in fucking Poland because he's Polish. He's the Polish Pope, and he just said, do not be afraid. What the fuck are we going to do about that? What are we going to say? Oh my God. What do we do? Like, this dude, okay. And they just sat around, and before they figured out, you know, maybe send some more Turkish expert gun marksmen at him. He got shot 4 times. Someone ran him with a bayonet. Everywhere he went, people were trying to plant bombs and shit. He was just not, yeah, you know, peace be with you in the middle of shitholes, of war zones. He never cared. You know what happened? Even the Soviets themselves, the high command, they said, you know what, John Paul's right. Let's give the people what they want. What's the worst that could happen? The Soviet Union collapses? Let's hope not, you know. And there are a lot of bad things happened. Russia, you know, all Eastern Europe, they're still pretty poor. Poland's one of the leaders in that area now. They're a big country. They always have this leadership mentality. So does Russia, you know, so does America, so does China, so does Japan, so all the people, Germany, you know, everyone is butting heads again in ways that some people don't even pay attention to. This is the kind of thing that makes someone who can sense the attitudes and the propaganda and the internet's closing. You know what it makes you think of? It makes you think of war around the world. You know, that's happened twice before in living most people in World War II, they're all dying nowadays, but you know what I always grew up hearing, and people I talked to, and the books I read? Never forget. That means a lot of things to a lot of people. What does it mean to me? It means, wow, People still think I'm a stupid Polak. Now, they don't even know what Polish... I don't know how to speak Polish. I don't even know any Polish people, really. People hear my name. I'm trying to make a website with my name. They say, oh, are you a Russian? And they get all afraid. I'm like, no. Do not be afraid. But now that you're pissing me off a little, maybe I should talk to some of my Russian friends and give you something to be afraid of, you know. I say shit like this here and there, and man, I don't know what people think of me. I talk about ISIS being wrong because they have too much hateful propaganda and they're messing with people's minds. Meanwhile, I'll be debating people about the geopolitics of the area, saying the Sunnis were disenfranchised. You know, Baghdad was fucked. They have a lot of good causes, and ISIS is they're an army. They're an army for millions of people, and they run the cities and shit, and a lot of the people there, the civil administration, you know, they're the ones that wanted to take charge, and ISIS lets them do their thing. But you know, it's hard to understand what's going on in places like that, and when you try to talk about it, everyone just thinks fuck this guy or whatever. He's talking about something I care about. Let's fucking troll him, hate him. He's wrong. He's my enemy. This is what everyone I feel like I talk to about domestic politics, global politics, economics, the media, you know, philosophy. Everyone just comes at me like they're the enemy, when I've always wanted to be people's friends. And my whole life, you know, I've always been the enemy in people's minds. Why? Probably because I know how to get inside their head. I bet for some people I'll never go away. That's why, you know, it's important to watch what you say, what you do, you know, and make sure you're doing the right thing. And the people that inspire you, put you on a path to walk, or, you know, tell you to look in the other direction. Usually I never listen to anyone else, and I always stare into the eye of Mordor. Because, you know, even Sauron, you know, he seemed, if you read the Silmarillion or whatever, seems like he had an interesting life and people fucked him over. And he just had some song he wanted to riff on or some shit, and some other god was like, no, you play this one song. And Sauron was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna make a bunch of rings and just brainwash people because I'm Sauron, I'm smart as shit. You know, I can relate to that, you know, whatever. You know, literally had an orc army, and, you know, Saruman and all this, they had their troll armies marching around Middle Earth, raising shit. But you know who came? The fucking Riders of Rohan. You know, they came at the dawn, just as the dawn there on the siege and the two towers. You know what that's based on? That's based on the fucking Polacks, bro. If you ever read about the siege of Vienna in like the 1600s, the Ottoman Empire, they were conquering everything. They were out of control. They were going to sweep across Europe. People were afraid at the end of Christianity. Vienna, you know, right there in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire or whatever, they were under siege for days. It was unstoppable. The Ottomans, they had guns. They had giant cannons. They had fearless warriors who believed in Allah. And what did the people have against the walls? They started to believe in nothing except doom. And you know what? The king of fucking Poland shows up just like Gandalf on top of a mountain and said, "You fuck you all." And the largest cavalry charge in history, 10,000 Polish hussars glistening in the sun, backed by 50,000 Germans, Russians probably, you know, all around Europe. They all united around the king of Poland, and he came crashing down the hill right into the flank of this 200,000 man army. You know what the myths about it were? A bunch of Jews were going, well, that owned. Let's make a bagel. Let's invent the bagel and for this victory. It's all bullshit, but the bagel part is. But, you know, next time you watch an epic cavalry charge, and with the music soaring and the hope coming back, and you think, man, if only something in real life could happen like that. Realize, guess what? Tolkien, he probably studied the shit out of the Battle of Vienna because it was so epic. And you know, the Pope, I mean, in the general, king, whatever, I forget his name, he was just like, someone send a tweet to the Pope and say, don't worry, bro, Christianity is saved. You know, winks and shit. There's fans about it. Some fat fucker. He looks just like my dad, you know, eating the first bagel. And his Jew bros next to him were like, damn, that was epic. It makes me sad, just these comment sections. Some people here and there say, this reminds me of the polls. And, you know, then all of a sudden someone in some moon speak will start blasting shit here and there. And it gets buried, you know, and people don't associate, they can't separate fantasy from reality. When the truth is, every story, every piece of art, everything like that, it comes from a place of truth. And you know, if you want to create cool stuff, if you want to inspire, you just gotta read your history, expand your mind, remove the prejudice in your soul and your heart, and just be able to accept people who are different and understand things from every point of view. Because how are you going to have a hero or a villain in your story if you don't understand what it feels like to be either one? And trust me, people call me bipolar. Maybe I am, but so is the yin and the yang or whatever, bro. You know, we all have our good days and bad days. Sometimes they're good weeks, sometimes they're bad weeks. Sometimes it feels like a good life, a charmed life, or sometimes it feels like a life lost. But I found purpose, I found truth not too long ago, you know, just sitting at my piano. I've been working on it for years. And, you know, and honestly, it's a lot of blame going on in my heart too, but it directs me to a higher calling, which is just doing the right thing. That's it. And all I hope is, if, you know, first let me say, if you watch this whole video, you're already doing something better than most people are doing with their time, because God knows what it is, unless you know they're doing charity or playing, making concerts or building venues. Because I walk down the streets, I look around, venues are closing, businesses are shutting their doors, people can't talk straight, the Facebook accounts that once were friends, they're just fake names with malcontent, and Twitter feeds, you know, who knows what the fuck they're about. I can't even look at my Twitter. Half of it is just hate, and the other half is hating the other people. It's just so, there's just so much. What the fuck do people talk about? I mean, okay, I get Donald Trump is one thing and whatever, and socialism is worth debating. People have been doing that for a long time. But to someone like John Paul II, you know what he cared about? Freedom. You know what America's founding principle is? Because that was what the Enlightenment was about. Enlightened thinkers, they all realized, they all came back to one word. And that's why you make fun of America wherever you are. You know why you have the freedom to do that with your own name, your identity, with your own history that you're proud of, because it's been saved and hasn't been razed to the ground, or just like that one troll on Facebook said, burned in the ovens with your entire family. It's because a country like America that valued the freedom of others and preserved it in your history and your culture, you know, probably saved your ass in a war. And you know what I get worried about nowadays? A World War III. Because call me crazy all you want, but man, when North Korea's testing nukes, when wars are popping, proxy wars are popping up everywhere, when leaders that have, some leaders have been tested, other people have never really led anything but, you know, their own fucking coke binge habits, and hang out like Lex Luthor in a tower saying you're fired to people all day, and all of a sudden, you know, they're going to be president, because he will be. You don't know what to think. You hope people just get along. And the Middle East, it's like kindling. Everything is like kindling. People that can share ideas, can change opinions, that can, affect people's hearts and minds, that have the gift of creation. They're the ones that matter. They've always been. They're the ones that make a difference. And boy, I hope everyone who has a gift inside, which is everybody, a lot of people are doing what they're set out to do. Nurses, special teachers, engineers, inventors. They all do stuff that we depend on more than anyone realizes. That's one of the things Israel is full of, because they have great academies for this stuff. People don't even know that Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Intel, all these people, where they get their tech from, that's in your phone that you're using to say, kill all the Jews in all the time. It's all developed in Israel pretty much, because they have a lot of scientists there, just because they value that kind of thing in their society. And they have institutions to cater to it and teach people this stuff. That's it. So when people want to boycott Israel, it's like you don't even know what you're saying. And for the most part, they just want to be left alone and, help the world by developing green energy and stuff. The Palestinians, man, that is one hell of an issue. I just hope there can be peace in our time there, and I appreciate anyone who can bridge the gap between societies, cultures, prejudices, and bigotry, and see past, people who are just trying to detonate vests in your face, no matter what. The people will kill themselves trying to kill someone who just doesn't give a fuck about whatever, man. I'm sorry, I did you no wrong. Want to talk? Sometimes when you say this to somebody, they say, actually, yeah, I do. But sometimes they say, yeah, man, fuck you, behind your back, whatever. It's all good. But the only thing I hope that I can bring, and anyone else who agrees, is, just some kind of a sense of purpose in what you do, because people make lots of money. They got their own studios. They get millions of fans on the internet. I don't have much of anything. I'm not much of a businessman. I'm just a good talker, and I hope pretty soon, I'm pretty sure my podcast and shit like that will be worth, selling, but I'm just trying to get there in my own way. And there's people every day that are just looking for someone to go out there and talk to them and say, man, get out of your fucking hateful zone you're in. I just go on Reddit to find these people, these Gamersgate refugees that had a cause or something, and all of a sudden everyone in the media said your cause is that you support rape culture and you're sexist because this person who has a louder voice than you, who never met you, doesn't know what's in your heart. You seem to have a cause that you believe in. You know what it was? Ethics and video game journalism. You know what that actually comes down to? Ethics in everything. Because a bunch of people who realized, wow, an ethically principled set of values seems to make a lot more truth in everything, because who the fuck knows what if a video game is good or bad. If some fucker is cybering with some chick who made it in some half-ass game and they're just getting mad, this is what is in the media, because they're probably a lot of these people, I've worked on modding teams and shit, they pour their hearts and souls into making a good product, and who's covering them? Because they're not going out of their way to, fucking fuck some 2-bit psycho or something, or cyber fuck. I don't know what the hell that was about. I didn't really follow Gamersgate, except for all the hate that came up, because there was a war zone over video game journalism. Nowadays, you can't even talk about video games without... there's always console wars. That shit's funny. But when it comes to the journalism, the media, truth, and advertising and all this, you start to realize that there's a big picture that people are probably missing. And I don't know the big picture. I'm just stuck looking at little pieces here and there. The little pieces usually are just saying "fuck you, Jew, die" and shit. But whatever. I just think about it. I carry it in my heart because it's something. I'm just an empathetic guy. I just feel. People can probably relate to that, and what all those them feels. What good are they for you? Well, I don't know, but if you have emotions, you can't help but feel them. And if you like reading stuff online, you can't help but read them and connect the two. So it sucks when you just reading stuff, the news in the world and the way the media covers it and the way people talk to each other. It just makes me sad, and I don't want to give a fuck what Geico presents. I was being inspired by that music, but once, the Geico gecko pops up and starts talking about car insurance in the middle of my truth vid, I know it's probably the time to turn it off. After all, I'm dressed like this because I forgot to pay my utilities and my heat was cut off in the middle of a Minnesota winter. So I'm just trying to stay warm by, warming the hearts of the world. And, just like Goku up in heaven saying, give me a spirit bomb, because I'm going to kill, I don't know, some Boo or some shit, fucking, I don't really understand anime. It doesn't make sense to me, but Goku does, bro. He just kept coming back from the dead, leveling up more and more, becoming Super Saiyan and shit like that. That's not real, but the manga guy, artist, author originally probably thought, man, this will make some kids feel badass. You just watch your best friend die and then get yourself killed and then come back to life, because that's what anime is, a bunch of nonsense, but it makes you feel like a superhero when you're reading it, because everybody's Goku. The thing about me is I've always felt like Vegeta or Sephiroth or, even Kefka or, even the Joker. I relate to those kind of people because they're all fucking crazy and they're trying to control your mind, steal your thoughts, and burn the world down. That's me. And, but what should you take from that is never trust some motherfucker telling you shit on the TV screen, because guess what? We're the craziest people in the world because we're putting our face out there and there's a big bullseye and I'm just saying, fuck it, whatever, we're all going to die one day anyways, so fuck it, might as well go out on fire. It's better to burn out than to fade away. I'm pretty sure, I think Neil Young said that, and then Kurt Cobain put it in his suicide note before he blew his brains out with a shotgun. Don't be like Kurt Cobain. Be like Neil Young. He's still making music. He's an old guy, whatever. He's having fun. Kurt Cobain isn't, because he did heroin and he blew his brains out. Because why? I don't know. Because he was crazy and he didn't get any help. He only had Dave Grohl around. Have you ever heard the Foo Fighters and shit? Dude, I'd kill myself too if I had that guy next to me. So whatever. Just stay smart, stay witty, and do whatever. Just don't be a dick, please. That's what Jesus would do. Peace. See how emo I look. My color is a little too yellow. He fixes. Some things are easy to fix.